Ladies and gents, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and let's not mess around, no wasting time today. It's not a particularly fun one, let's get right into it. The April update for Battlefield 5 is cancelled. There won't be new content until at least May. That's at least May, they're hoping for May, which I'm sure quite a lot of you were aware of by now. You know, the info's been out there for about a week. But if you weren't, well then I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. That's where we are right now. But rather than just lay that out, which as I say, you've probably seen elsewhere, I want to talk with you guys and also get your feedback, which is really important, on just how bad this is or isn't for the game. I think it will be, but that's up for debate. I did a little weird laugh there as well. Because from my perspective, this is a tough moment. Now, BF5 has had many tough moments, basically teetering on the edge of implosion or irrelevancy all of the time throughout its whole life cycle, but this was an unforeseen event this time. Nobody could really have predicted a cancelled update just a few months or even weeks ago, with everything that's going on in the world at the minute. And it comes at a time where COD's Battle Royale is out and, I think, likely quite significantly hurting the interest in BF5. I'm certain, literally genuinely certain, a decent sized chunk of the playbase is over there right now, not to mention on other games, you know, the vast amount of other games out there that are newer or better or holding more interest or have updates. It really is a difficult time for BF5, and that's nothing new particularly, unfortunately. Because we haven't had sizable fresh content since, what, I believe early February? I looked it up, it was early Feb. Meaning when we get this new content, if it comes in May, it will have been about 3 months in between. And if we don't get it in May, it's even longer. So that's at least a quarter of a year on a live service game, a game which has struggled all the way through, and a game which already right now feels like it isn't a particularly fantastic example of a live service model. It's pretty light on content, to be honest, when I compare it with other ones I've played. This makes it difficult. I mean, I'm certainly seeing it. Interest in BF5 YouTube content went rocketing back up around the time of Solomon Islands releasing, and with new guns and all the hype about the new TTK and weapon rebalancing and all that kind of stuff. Late January through February was a good time to be making content on Battlefield. But this month, it's pretty awful, mate. It's been hard. And a lack of interest in video content for a game often falls in line with a lack of interest in playing the game. And I really do hope that, you know, when the next one comes around and myself and others get a big boost again with a new Battlefield title, which is hopefully much better, and we all grow, some people think back to when I was making all this content now and struggling through, and they go, man, it was good that he at least tried to keep putting stuff out. Now, let me stress, by the way, as I covered in a recent video, I totally understand and have no issues at all with this delay on this specific occasion. Previous ones, they were a problem. This one, I get. The coronavirus or COVID-19 is causing social distancing, isolation, lockdowns and such like. People trying to work from home, disruptions to the chain of clearance procedure for updates that games need via Microsoft, all that kind of stuff, things that people generally don't consider when they're on the consumer side of the gaming world. So I can't really lay any blame on DICE here with clear conscience, and you know that I would otherwise. Health comes first, and there's simply no way they could function as normal away from the studio. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on this occasion. What it is more so is a comment upon how stark the reality is, and that is down to DICE. You know, with this game being as it is, it struggles to overcome these issues, whereas other games maybe would. This is a fresh, new, huge hurdle for the game at a time where, as always, many players are just ready to throw in the towel. Maybe they already have. They've had enough of waiting or being disappointed, had enough of things not improving, or improving only then to be ruined again down the line. I'm looking at you, TTK changes. What absolutely needs to happen, I say this without any doubt, is for the May update, if it comes in May, to be absolutely excellent, without significant problems, and with a big chunk of fresh new content. Because that has unwittingly turned into another truly key event for the life of this game, with us not getting a new one until at least 2021. And yes, that scares me. I am looking at other stuff. When Insurgency Sandstorm comes out on console, you can bet I'm going to at least have a go at that and see if you guys like it. I really hope you do, but we'll see. But yeah, this update in May has to hit it right out of the park. And by the way, while the April update is cancelled, the current plan is for DICE to combine the planned update for April with the planned update for May to create a really big update, at least hopefully, with a lot for us to sink our teeth into. Otherwise, it could be yet another death nail for this game, which somehow has many deaths or something, I don't know, it's hard to keep track of it now. But yeah, especially as more and more games keep coming out and chipping chip away at its player base. So like, tell me, what do you think about all this? What is your perspective on the impact this is having? Because does it feel really dry on reason to play for you right now? It does for me, besides making content, and this isn't a complaint. In this instance, it is to be expected. We're in a pandemic. But I play BF5 and I make my content, and then when I'm done, I switch straight to Destiny 2 because I actually have things to do on that game. It comes across as a genuine live service, and it's just fun for me. And I really hope more of the fun and reliability returns in the next Battlefield game. That really has to happen. Now, in December 2018, way back when, really early in BF5's life, I made a video stating that the game needed a good break. I highlighted how there was seemingly never a period of positivity and problems kept stacking up. I said that this needed to change for the game to flourish. We couldn't keep having all these negatives stacking up one after another. And this was way before anyone really started calling the game out properly, and hence my video got a lot of dislikes. But I've always stood by that video. And I think it now makes for a fascinating scenario to compare and contrast with how things are now. How much things got improved or stayed the same or got worse. How much the points I raised actually affected the game or didn't and such like. And how many fresh issues came up that I couldn't possibly have expected. Because back then, I had this outlook that this can't go on forever. You know, at some point this will turn around. And so, let's take a watch at what I said back then with what we now know in mind, and tell me in the comments how it strikes you. How much you think the game has continued to suffer or has been improved since that point. Oh, and ignore my voice sounding different in the video. I had a bad mic and bad software and all that kind of stuff back then. I'm now getting up each morning to see what on earth is happening around this DICE developed product. A product that has the potential to actually be a fantastic game. No, really, that's not a joke. But somehow it just keeps riding the fail train. And today I'm going to talk about the latest problems and controversies. And I honestly don't know when they're going to stop. We need a good string of positives about this game very, very soon. Now, just to clarify my position, I don't want to kick a game or a development team while they're down. I want Battlefield 5 to succeed. I want to succeed so badly. And I understand that some problems are down to individuals, some are unavoidable, etc, and that some devs are probably also at the studio going, what the hell is going on? So I'm not blaming any one thing for causing Battlefield 5's problems. It's the culmination of many, oh god, too many factors, which is causing me to consider referring to Battlefield 5 by an alternative name, that name being PR Nightmare 2018, the game. And anyway, I'm here to talk about the game for you guys, both good and bad. Currently things just happen to be bad. So in the interest of being objective, let's get into this, and I'll just keep my fingers crossed it all turns out okay in the end. I'm really pulling for this game's success. Let's start with a couple of days ago. DICE had their launch party for Battlefield 5. Big fancy event, time to relax and celebrate the game being out. Everybody just have a good time. But do you know what nobody expected to be part of that scenario, at least not from an external perspective? A wall of cherry-picked comments from the angriest of Battlefield 5 fans with hashtag everyone's Battlefield slapped over the top of it. I'm talking about comments such as Genderfield 5 and feminazis are trying to rewrite history. Now, I personally don't buy into all the hate. I just don't care about that aspect particularly, as DICE have said they aren't now trying to produce a totally accurate depiction of World War II. Let me just interrupt. As many of you know, my opinion on this has since changed a lot, as DICE have continued to flaunt reality whilst never getting straight how accurate this game is or isn't meant to be, having weird agendas that I didn't know about at the time and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm no longer actually okay with this, and I wish the game had just been a straight up World War II experience, which I think would have been much more successful as well. And I just straight up want good gameplay, but this is a horrible PR move. It's just the worst. By picking out the extreme comments in this manner, it likely makes the group that had issues with authenticity as a whole feel like they're being mocked and ridiculed, even if they weren't at the extreme end of things. It's just not very smart. I don't like a lot of the comments that they've received, I really don't. I think some people have gone way overboard, and I do understand why the devs at DICE would want to vent and try to turn it all into a personal positive. You know, like how you say stuff about people in the privacy of your own home, but you'd probably feel mortified if you realized the person in question agent was actually staring at you from the corner of the room. This is the equivalent. DICE have left their front door open whilst taking aim at all these commenters, and those commenters have now just wandered in, confused and even more rage-filled than before, staring at DICE asking what the hell they're doing. So DICE, I think say what you like, even have this wall of comments if you want, but make sure it doesn't get out and go viral. Whoever took these pictures and put them out to the public, I'm sure you didn't realize what you were doing, but my 2020 hindsight glasses make you look a little stunted in the situational awareness department. After everything that's happened, you just can't go and do stuff like this if you want to turn the tide and actually make a full-on success of this game. I'm not villainizing you for being mad or wanting to all rally against the comments, but this is straight out of the Homer Simpson book of business practices. But as you can see, there's still some time left in this video, even though I'm winding down this story, which means there must be more, and there is, because of course there is. Tides of War is the live service aspect of Battlefield 5, the thing that's replacing the premium pass. Basically, it's the content, or at least that's what some people would have you believe, as they claim the game was damn near empty at launch. I mean, it wasn't, but it's hard to deny that there were some glaring omissions. The practice range, for example, not available at launch? The mind boggles, man. I mean, I don't get that. But anyway, the first chapter of Tides of War is called Overture. It was slated for the 4th of December and is delayed. DICE found a significant problem late on and now need clearance from Microsoft, etc. in order to get the update out. As of making this video, there hasn't yet been a date set for the amended release, although there may be by the time you're watching this. Regardless, man, that's not a good look. The first live service update of the game, a game that needs a shot in the arm really badly, an update that was hyped up to get fans going, and it's delayed at the last minute. Damn, that's bad. I don't blame DICE for this as such. If there's a problem and they'd rather delay to fix it than just release it in a bad state, then that's likely the right thing to do and I support it. My stance on this has also since changed, just because back then I again didn't know how much would end up being delayed and how much of a mess it would all be in the end, and how much of a problem the management at DICE is. So no, all these delays are not okay because they're basically constant, aside from the one we're experiencing right now. But it's just another blow to this game, an unavoidably negative impact. And I bet the devs were absolutely crestfallen when it became apparent there was an issue. They really don't need another problem currently, and yet here we are. BF5 is currently hoping its failure or success is going to be decided by the judges from the Wilder v Fury fight, and even then it might not come out on top. But it just didn't end there. Like, why, gaming gods? Why do you hate Battlefield so? Because the reveal stream for the delayed update, yes, that's a thing, had 3 less than stellar elements that stood out to me. First off being the difficulty with which the guys in the stream had trying to find a place on the map. I mean, that was just funny to me rather than really bad though. But then came a minor issue. The price of certain vehicle customization unlocks seemed pretty damn high, although it's early to say and this may not be too bad once we experience more playtime, but it does highlight that the game does need to pull money from people purchasing in-game currency. I get that, this is a business, it makes sense, it just sucks a bit, but you know, fair enough. But then the big one, time-gated weapon unlocks in Battlefield. Really? That's a thing. Not Destiny, not a looter shooter, Battlefield. A straight up first person shooter experience. Dude, I just can't get on board with that. People want to unlock the weapons and use them. On Destiny, again for example, there's grind and challenge and nuance to getting weapons. It's part of the game's charm, but Battlefield isn't built around that. There are going to be so many people who just can't adhere to a schedule to unlock stuff, and you really don't need this problem thrown on top of everything else. If someone doesn't unlock the weapon they want in the correct time frame, they then have to wait for a later date. I want to say I still feel this way. This point is never even discussed now, but I really didn't like that these challenges had end dates and then people had to wait. I don't find that to be a good system. You want people to play the game regardless of their own schedule, and Battlefield 5 needs as many reasons for people to play it as possible. It's not the worst thing in the game or anything like that, but it's just simply not how I would have gone about structuring weapon unlocks. But I think the way the game is made simply can't handle having multiple weeks of unlocked challenges running at once, as with the assignments, which is kind of a farce really when compared with other games, and it has now since been changed to the weapons being unlocked via the Tides of War tiers, which has its own problems with people paying for them, but let's not get into that. How are people supposed to be hyped up about your live service update if they then miss the chance to utilize some of what it includes? I'm just confused. I think DICE need to go back to basics and just start nailing the simple stuff. We need to get a solid period of time without drama and issues and just bring some really good stuff to the game. Maybe do something for the community, throw in a bonus thing or something, just to, like, you know, hurt people up a bit. Please don't kill this. This game could be great. I mean, in my opinion, there is a genuinely good game here, and the right polish could make it much more obvious. Let's not add more problems before the existing ones have been fixed. But alas, that is the situation as it currently stands. So now you know. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss my future content, and join my Discord server in the description and my pinned comment. Now, let's head over to the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. That support helps me do this every single day, so thanks to everybody on here. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. Due to its damage, rate of fire, and accuracy, plus, again, a lack of recoil considering how fast it's firing, and I still don't think that gun gets as much attention as it deserves. But now, moving on, let's cast our net wider. What about gadget-wise? Well, Assault here is very strong, particularly when you consider BF5 features terrain and building destruction,